He said yes to everyone: his boss, his friends, his family, even strangers. Every yes stole a little more sleep, a little more peace, a little more of his dreams. One night, exhausted and empty, he looked in the mirror and asked himself a painful question. When was the last time I said yes to myself? That single question led to one small word, no, and it changed his entire life. Asterisk, he believed that being a good person meant never refusing anyone. From a young age, he learned that saying yes made people smile, earn praise, and avoided conflict. So he carried that habit into adulthood like a badge of honor. Extra work after office hours? Yes. Helping a friend at midnight? Yes. Sacrificing weekends, sleep, and personal goals? Always yes. At first, it felt noble. He thought he was building a life of respect and connection. What he didn't notice was what each yes was quietly taking from him. Days blurred into weeks, and weeks into years. His mornings began with exhaustion. His nights ended with regret. The dreams he once spoke about with excitement slowly turned into distant thoughts. He no longer had energy to chase. He would sit alone late at night, staring at unfinished personal projects, promising himself, "Tomorrow, I'll start." But tomorrow never came, because someone else always needed him more. Inside, a silent anger began to grow, not toward others, but toward himself. He smiled on the outside, but inside he felt invisible, like a supporting character in everyone else's story. One evening, after agreeing to another task he didn't want, he caught his reflection in a dark window. His eyes looked tired, almost unfamiliar. In that moment, a painful truth surfaced. Every time he said yes to others, he was saying no to his own time, his own peace, his own future. The realization hit hard. No one had forced him into this life. He had chosen it, one yes at a time. That night, he understood something life-changing. Self-sacrifice without self-respect slowly destroys the soul. Helping others is powerful, but not when it costs you everything. For the first time, he allowed himself to imagine a different life, one where his needs mattered too. And that quiet awareness became the first step toward reclaiming himself. Asterisk, the first time he said no, his heart pounded as if he had committed a crime. The word felt heavy on his tongue, unfamiliar and dangerous. He expected anger, disappointment, maybe even rejection. His mind raced with worst-case scenarios, people turning away, friendships breaking, doors closing forever. For years, fear had trained him to believe that saying no meant losing love and respect. Yet this time, something inside him was more. Afraid of losing himself. When the moment came, he spoke softly but firmly. No excuses, no long explanations. Just one honest no. There was a brief silence on the other end, and in that silence his chest tightened. Then something unexpected happened. Life didn't fall apart. The world didn't collapse. The person simply nodded and moved on. That small moment shook him more than years of exhaustion ever had. With each new no, he began to understand a powerful truth. He wasn't pushing people away. He was protecting something precious. His time, his energy, his mental peace. The constant pressure he once carried started to fade. Even his posture changed, as if his spine had remembered its strength. Some people did react differently. A few became distant. But instead of pain, he felt clarity. Those who only valued his yes were never truly valuing him. Over time, others began to treat him differently. They asked instead of demanded. They respected his limits. His no created boundaries. And within those boundaries, his life felt calmer, more focused. He realized that boundaries weren't walls meant to isolate him. They were fences that protected what mattered most. Saying no wasn't an act of rejection, it was an act of self-respect. It wasn't selfishness, it was wisdom. By choosing when to say no, he finally chose when to say yes with full heart and purpose. And in that balance, he discovered a strength he never knew he had. Asterisk, the day he began choosing his no more carefully. Something unexpected happened. His life grew quieter. The noise of constant demands faded, and in that silence, he heard his own thoughts again. Mornings no longer started with panic. Evenings were no longer filled with regret. For the first time in years, he had space. And in that space, he found. Focused out with fewer distractions pulling him in every direction, he returned to the goals he had once buried under obligations. He started small, not with grand promises, but with consistent action. 1 hour a day became his sacred time. 1 hour where he honored his future instead of other people's expectations. Progress was slow, but it was real, and that alone fueled his confidence. As weeks passed, the results began to show. His skills sharpened. His work improved. People noticed the difference, not just in what he produced, but in how he carried himself. He spoke with calm certainty now. His decisions were clearer, his energy stronger. That single brave no had created a chain reaction, reshaping his habits, his mindset, and his self-belief. There were moments of doubt. His old fears sometimes whispered that he was doing less, that he was falling behind. But deep down he knew the truth: he wasn't doing less. He was doing what mattered. Each no protected the path he was building. Each boundary strengthened the future he once thought was impossible. One day he realized something powerful. His success didn't come from working harder than everyone else. It came from choosing better than everyone else. By saying no to what drained him, he had said yes to growth, purpose, and peace. And in that realization, he understood that a stronger future isn't created by endless effort, but by one clear, courageous choice made again and again.